In the upper right, in the red, he's playing Vanguard. At times, the best Vanguard player on the ladder. He is that Supernova account. From France, it's Denver. And then in the bottom left, in the blue, he's playing Infernals. He's from Team Liquid. It's Elazer. And of course, Elazer, not the highest on ladder always. I know he ladders some because I had people in the chat earlier talking about how he plays on ladder. And in fact, he just lost to someone on ladder. But he plays customs, and he is, in my mind, is this imp. I think he was trying to meat farm rush this camp. It didn't really work. Meat farm, yeah, you know, imps got found out by the scout. But Elazer is, for my money, probably the strongest Infernal player out there. I think that is true. Again, his mechanics are fantastic. He is a former StarCraft 2 professional player. Mechanics are fantastic, but equally as importantly, he has absolutely no qualms about finding whatever is just absolutely broken and abusing it in the extreme. And, you know, in this patch, that has meant double vault brew rushes into Weavers. That's how he has been playing. That is what we can expect to see him play every single time. So if you're an Infernal player and you're watching this, this is probably the strongest way to play against Vanguard on most maps, against most styles. Now, I, as an Infernal player who plays, you know, does those things, I run into these issues where I run into players who are going like 5.5-minute helicarriers, and it's like, great, I have no anti-air. And even though I killed their natural, it doesn't matter. So that is just me balance winding, though. That's fine. We're going to see exactly what it is that Denver wants to go. So he went 1-1. He went Barracks. He went Mech Bay. We're going to see Hedgehogs out. And this is a lot of early pressure. Certainly, Hedgehogs are theoretically, by design, they are the answer to Brutes. Lancers are the answer to Fiends. This is a nice harmonic idea that allows you to get you a man who does both. Exactly where that's going to go. This was Max saying, Infernal balance winding, grab that Twitch. I'm just saying that the style that Elazer is playing, half the time I run into issues where the players that I run into kind of play the things that hard counter the way that Elazer plays. So it's just not great. That's not balance winding. That's meta winding. There's a difference. I think it is important to point this out, as now a bunch of Fiends are going to find their way into the main base, maybe get on top of this habitat, but it's going to be mass repaired. So it will eventually die, it looks like, because Fiend DPS is rather nice, but Hedgehogs are going to return back home, and this doesn't really accomplish anything. And, you know, talking about the future, because I think we can expect a balance patch coming this week based on the fact that there is a patch that is staging, and they generally do balance patch. They just generally patch on Patch Tuesdays are a thing, right? I would not be surprised to see maybe Brutes don't get nerfed. I don't know if they do or not, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Fiends nerfed a little bit. Because certainly Vanguard players don't necessarily struggle to deal with Fiends, but Celestials definitely do. And I'd be okay with that. I think we're gonna see Weavers nerfed. I think that is a guaranteed, like 100%. Weavers are going to get nerfed. Their autocast is way too strong, way too strong. But for now, a couple Hedgehogs, mass veteran on the map from Denver, on top of the Lancers as well. I don't think they killed this vault, even though they've bonus to heavy. Just it's a lot of HP. But they're going to start to, well, they're going to put pressure on this. And that means that Elazer has to go try to defend, which means that he's going to just have units get siphoned away. The Hexen is, going to go down. That's a lot less power on the map, less scouting, less infest available, which you don't really have access to until you got tier 2. You don't really have access to until you have Gaunts with Plague Axes, if that's how you choose to play. And that means that these Lancers and these Hedgehogs are doing a really nice job. Now, tier 2 is done, which means that there is a Shroudstone manifestation, which really should get nerfed, and I fully expect it to in the next balance patch. But Shroudstone manifestation will keep Elazer alive, and, well, that's how that's going to go. So behind this, now we're going to see a natural go down, not overcharge, because Denver does not want to spend energy on things that are not promoting his Hedgehogs. That is definitely by far the most impactful thing that you can spend your energy on. Make sure that you go and you vet to your Hedgehogs, you vet to your your Lancers. You get them to high veterancy. They do more damage. They take or they are tankier. They go and they may have longer range as well. But now the Weavers are on the map. That's why you're going for this quick Greater Shrine, or the Greater Shrine, excuse me. Because it means you can get Weavers out, and Weavers are very strong. But hey, it's tier 2 as well. So the Bubble Boy is here, and this Weaver is gonna force to take the Shroudways back home. But Elazer, he wants to play aggressively with this. He wants to ideally have a Shroud Stone on the map, teleport his Weavers in, and lean into Denver in a way that is very difficult for Denver to defend. But Denver, yes, he's gone for this Lancer Scout idea, or excuse me, this Lancer Hog, this Lancer Car idea. Because he's gone for that. Elazer is not able to get the pressure that he would like to get. He has not really been able to move on the map. Weavers are, of course, tremendously slow. So you got to be careful of that one. As for now, we're just going to sit here in the healing zone slowly. Remember, by the way, the healing zone it's flat HP. It's flat 4 HP per second regen. It is not a, again, Lash is good not only against these high supply units, but also against low supply that are high veterancy. So for now, we're going to see, yes, the tier 3 Hedgehogs. They're going to get lashed down. Weaver won't fall. I gotta say, it's a little... I don't think this gets changed because they are kind of tall and gangly. And if they were changed to heavy, every single tanky unit, every single useful unit that the Infernal has outside of the Gaunt would be a heavy unit. That's kind of too one-note counterable. But it is weird that Weavers are light tagged, not heavy tagged. Yeah. As it stands, doesn't really matter. Hedgehogs, they're going to go. I guess it does matter. But Hedgehogs, this army from Denver is going to get forced back. He's going to have to go and develop himself more. It is really the play. The Weavers are good, but start to leapfrog, right? The pressure that Denver has been able to affect should have given him some more power, even as he did lose a couple of these high veterancy Hedgehogs. So that means he's cleared off a majority of the creep camps. They have become... He lost this one. But he has knocked down a good majority of the creep camps. That's always going to be very nice. There's no third base on the way, but he's got a scrapyard. We're building something. Transonic rockets on the way. Building double... So he's just building more Hedgehogs, which... Interesting. We'll see. On the one hand, Weavers are very good against Hedgehogs because, well, they lash them and they can't run away. Hedgehogs are good because they can run. Also, Gaunts and Weavers are both light units, so they don't take bonus damage from the Hedgehog, so you don't really have that effective power there. But there's also this idea, and it has been true of RTS games for a long, long time, that more stuff just beats less stuff. So a lot of Hedgehogs, say more than can all get lashed, can maybe make this happen. Now, as the Gaunts arrive, and they got Plague Axes, they're going to get Reaper Rush eventually. In fact, right about right now, Reaper Rush is going to complete. Once the Gaunt numbers start to get high, I have less faith in the Hedgehogs. I think I would like to see maybe a second barracks go down and get kinetic redirects so you can run through them, right? And get all this damage done with the Lancers on top of these light units. I think I would like that, but there's only so much money on the map. And Denver, for his part, well, he's just building more mech base. He's just building more Hedgehogs. And hey, lots of Hedgehogs. I don't... It is interesting to see this. And also not to see high command rush. That's how Mixo's been playing. He gets a Graven fairly quickly. You get to Helicarriers fairly quickly. And that can be very solid. The sticky bomb in particular is very strong. It slows down attack speed and movement speed, and that's a really big deal. I mean, it can be very effective in these games, but we're not seeing that for right now. And there's a third base just about done. That is something that that Denver is getting started. But the longer this game goes, and yeah, you know, he did get Orbital Energy Optimizer. That means he can promote more things, bubble more things. But as this game goes on, and I look at this army setup, I don't know that there's a biolab anywhere. Okay, no, there's a biolab. Kinetic redirect is on the way. So that's going to be the timing. You're waiting for kinetic redirect. There you go, Shroud Stone as well, so you can teleport things into the front line. You can manifest on the pressure as well. But I just look at this army from Denver, and I'm not impressed. I don't think this composition answers in any way, shape, or form what it is that Elazer wants to go for. And now we got, what is this, 6 Weavers? the percent damage on the structures means that you're going to get like a 1 round of production out of these barracks before they go down. And just the mass latches on everything. It's just not... I don't have a lot of faith in this army. We're going to have to see, though, because now the fight kicks off in earnest, and just targeting these weavers down, because you got it. This effigy has to die. It is the long and short of it. And it will go down, but the sheer amount as just microing back. Oh, that's actually really cool. I said, yes, we're going to teleport weavers into the front line, but also we can save weavers that are getting targeted down. Turning into, okay, that's just a teleport. When you're on Shroud, the Shroud region on weavers is so insane that it's really hard. It's really hard to burst through. So now the mass latches are again going to fall down, again, going to continue. We're going to have the hedgehogs here, but the numbers are low, and Denver is dead. I liked the early game pressure. I think he might have had a chance to go and kill a laser if not for Shroudstone, not for the manifest. But as it stands, a mass hedgehog against this army, I don't think it does it. So game number 2, Isla Dread is going to be the map. We got an imp on the map, a hexen on the map, and I think, yeah, Elaser's just going to go. He's going to cut these trees down, and you're going to meat farm rush the middle, because that is what you want to do. That is kind of the optimal play on this map, and it is annoying that a scout is here, but an imp and a hexen do deal with this guy. They're going to be able to force this back, I would think. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be fine. I wonder, is this... there's a healing fruit relatively nearby. I was going to say, I wonder... if you scald that, that's an extra 20. Yeah, he pulls back earlier. But, man, do you actually make that happen? But, no. For now, though, I said he was going to meat farm the near health camp. He's going to meat farm rush the far camp. And that actually... okay, he will get it up in time. But what this does mean with this positioning, I think he wants to cancel and remake this. Because this is not a gap that brutes can run through. It's like one of the goals you cut all these down is you want the brutes to be able to get on top. And if you can't do that, this camp becomes very hard to take early. But I guess he's going to let it go up, and it's gonna be hard for the... I don't think brutes get through this gap. They might. As it stands, though, we know the drill. Double vaults, delayed shrine. We're going to see eventually there's going to be a conclave going down. You can go into weavers. That is how a laser plays this matchup. And... you know, it gives them a bunch of different win conditions. It gives them this opportunity to go and attack early. It has them attack to win with the brutes. If the opponent is caught creeping on the map, out of position. Also gives this opportunity to go and win with the weaver timing. So there are 2 different windows that the Vanguard player has to defend against. We're gonna have to, okay, the brutes actually... oh, I did not think the brutes got through that area, but they do. And now this imp, we talked about the Shroudstone. Well, Elazer is just ramping up the pressure in this game number 2. This might turn into a pure brute manifest. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say this might turn into a pure brute manifest idea, but no, not really. Okay, it still can. Elazer's not really mining any Ethereum at the moment, but more importantly, he's just gonna backdoor the thing. He's gonna go and mine these trees out on the backside, and suddenly there is, well, there's a fun second level to this attack that maybe Denver's not going to be expecting. So he's gonna, for right now, you attack through the front. Now there is no natural because Denver is one basing the defense of this. There we go. Shroudstone on the way in the main base, and this is Envision. Denver is aware of this, but he does have to defend both sides. That is complicated. It is more important to knock this Shroudstone down, and also to kill the imp. That actually takes a lot of power out of the... oh, wait, Denver. This has to die. This has to die. And yeah, that is a very important thing, because otherwise there's going to be a greater shrine. A Shroudstone's going to get manifested, and this becomes very problematic. As it stands, Elazer, he loses the imp. He loses a little bit of money from having to cancel twice. He's going to be fine, but he is actually getting forced back, and there is a natural on the way. So all that together does mean that Elazer survives the earliest bit of pressure. He's got his hogs on the map. He's got his lancers on the map. And let's see, what are we at Therium-wise? Elazer is 25 Therium short of getting Greater Shrine. So by the time that Denver moves onto the other side of the map, Greater Shrine will be halfway done or so, something like that. Which does mean that pressure with this that we look at. We're like, you might be able to break this. There will be a Shroudstone manifestation as well. I see. Isma's back again. Our resident. Wow, Vanguard's underpowered. Everyone is broken. Enjoyer in chat. Which, in fairness, Weavers are too strong. Celestial versus Vanguard is too strong. I'll give you that one. But saying Elazer goes aggressive proxy. What aggressive proxy? A meat farm. Proxying a meat farm that's not an aggressive proxy. Yes, it is on the other side of the map, but that's just you meat farm rush whatever camp it is that you want to take. I would not. If that is an aggressive proxy, it is in the mildest terms an aggressive proxy. It's not powering unit production, right? It just means yeah, I can creep a little easier, and the Volts are back at home. So for now, again, the game is going to stabilize. The natural is done, and he's talking about Elazer expands faster. He does, but I mean the command post, you get 4 bobs and you overcharge that, and it goes up nearly instantly. So it's not quite as bad as what we're talking about. Supplies are relatively even, but there we go. This is exactly what we wanted to see. We were kind of theory crafting in chat after game number 1. It's like, okay, how do you want to go out of this? And selling the mech bay once you've defended against the brutes, absolutely the play. So hangar bay is done. Hornets on the map. Hangar bay is done. Hornets are on the map. Two base economy from a Denver at this point. Getting that scrapyard so he can get more. He can get more energy. Orbital call down optimizer with the upgrade. 50% more energy off his top bar, or 54% energy region off the top bar, so you can go and promote more units and bubble more units, and that is very, very useful. So Elazer, no third base just yet. He's got a lot of brutes. Even brutes and weavers, which conveniently do not shoot up. So that means this Hornet, as it starts to arrive on the map, where is our? I want to say one Hornet should be done. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we got our 2 Hornets on the map, and we'll see exactly what it is that Denver's going to be able to get done with this. You do have to get damage done. Actually, okay, let's do the math here for a second. 13 damage. Call it 17 damage versus light. Sorry, 8 damage. What am I saying? 16 damage. So if you look at this, an imp has 100 HP effectively. Maybe call it 105 because you regen some. You regen some white health on Shroud, and you're always gonna be unsure. So call it 105. 24. Four Hornets does 32 damage, which means they 3-shot. Which means they 3-shot imps, which actually happens very quickly because they attack very, very fast. And also, as you go and you mass promote them as well, they attack very, very fast. So what this means as we take a look at this, too lazy to do like the percentage, the percentile math, but you can dive on top of a lot of this stuff. They're gonna, Gaunts have the same HP as Fiend as imps, so they're gonna go and gotta be careful of that one. But god, the Shroudstone Manifest is so good. They Shroudstone Manifest. And that means that one of these Hornets goes down instantaneously. We've been talking about this, but I do believe that Shroudstone Manifestation is something that should be... really, all top bars defensive tools should be toned down. It's just... it means harass is not viable. Yeah, so for now, 3 Hornets are here. I assume there is a... oh, no, he sold it. Okay. Very cool. I assumed he would keep the hangar bay up, because third base, high command, and Graven are all very, very nice. But he didn't. And now, we're on 5 Hornets. That's a lot of damage here. In fact, this Shroudstone, it's not manifested anymore. It will just fall down. And it's not like there are a lot of Gaunts in this army right now either. Yes, there is, of course, Plague Axes, right? You do get infested, but you can just go return to hangar. When things get a little bit too gnarly, you return to hangar, you go back home, and this is substantive damage. This is reasonable damage. Meanwhile, Denver behind this, he's got his third base up and running, building 3 racks here. He's on 5. He's going up to 8 racks. So he's gonna have a lot of bio now. The problem with this, if we can talk about a problem, sorry, 9 racks. He's got this barracks here. Biolab is only just now done. Biolab is only just now complete. And that means that quick draw hustle, that means that kinetic redirect, which you want both of, and really, you want high command too. You want survival protocol, you want mitigative guard. That's like when you really start to get strong. Oh, and by the way, I was talking about returning to hangar. Losing the hangar bay means that you don't get to return to hangar. There is no rapid get out of jail free card that the Hornets have access to. So that is actually kind of a very interesting trade-off for Denver. I mean, I'm going to trust him on this. This seems like a very streamlined build that he is finding a lot of value with. But I do think it's pretty dang interesting. So for now, Hornets, they're sped up. We got 5 of them, right? That's 40 damage a shot, a little bit more because some of them are promoted. I don't know, 50 damage a volley. So you're two-shotting imps at this point. You're two-shotting gaunts, give or take at this point. And even more if you're finding them off shroud and they don't have full white health. So anything you can do here, this is like playing, I don't know, what's a good equivalent? Like playing Blink Stalkers versus the Marine tank push, where you go and, or maybe Phoenix, right? Because those are flying units. Although, yeah, Wraith Stones, they do shut this down quite a bit. But hey, there's going to be a free imp, and let's see how much more you can find. A couple gaunts, that's always going to be very nice. More gaunts, they're going to show up though, and yeah, just back up on this one. Even still, again, Denver is doing substantive damage. He's keeping his opponent back home. He's not allowing the army to go and get everything together. Now, oh, that's going to be, God, this is so strong. This is 54 damage a shot. I don't know, guys. It's gonna get, I gotta assume it's gonna get fixed on what I assume is gonna be a patch on Tuesday. That being said, I want to say I'm assuming quick draw is done. Quick draw is done. We got kinetic redirect on the way as well. There are med techs in this army, and Denver's army is at the supply value and the quality level where this is not an army from the Vanguard or from the Infernal player that fights all that easily. It really isn't. Once you start to get this big of a bio ball with mass healing, with everything else, it becomes very hard. Not impossible, certainly not, but it becomes very hard for like tier 2 Infernal to properly fight. Now, once you get up to Elder Shrine, which we're not at just yet, in fact, we're only just now getting to those Twilight Spires. Once you get up to tier 3 and you say get yourself a dragon, you get yourself a flayed dragon, you get Hellborn with Magma Touch. That can be, oh god, these gaunts are a little bit exposed. That can get very good once you get maybe some Magmadons with Raging Tendons and you get through this army. It can swing around, but right now this is absolutely the power spike that Denver's looking for. Like, this is what he's been building into for the last 12 minutes of this game, and starting off with a free Weaver is a beautiful thing. Yeah, you can teleport back home, but no way. The full might of the Vanguard army is going to burst that thing down. So Elazer's got to play defensively. He will have the Elder Shrine on the way, started very soon. But also, as we talk about these late game setups, Brutes and Fiends are not really going to get a lot done. We have to pay attention to Elazer's Animus, which is not all that big. He has not been taking these fights. Yeah, you've been generating some from meat farms, but you need 150. You need 150 Animus to make sure that you can take these fights, or you can get the dragon out, excuse me. And, you know, opting into a fight, get started. And, well, you're just gonna have to cut away. Make sure you're staying off Shroud. There are a couple Shadow Flyers, and they add nothing to this army. Nightfall's gonna get dropped down as well, and I am continuously surprised as the lashes go down on some of these Exos that we don't see Medtech Mastery. We do not see Surge, right? The ability to remove a bunch of infest on a lot of these units is nice. Target fire down, takes the Shroud Stone, or takes the effigy down, and this random Hedgehog in the backline is doing something as the Weavers just slowly, inexorably are going to start to run forward. But the Weavers are so much value in this army, and they are slowly but steadily getting taken down. Now, as the Lancers fall down, this is where life starts to become a bit of a problem for Denver as well, because, well, his Exos are great until the Gaunts get on top of them, and when the Gaunts get on top of them, you have to back up. So at the end of the day, Denver loses some, Elazer loses some. We got a random run by as this hangar bay is going to get taken down. Actually, a very effective run by. So that's a problem. Denver wants to get his 4th base, but more importantly, he needs to have high command up. Without a hangar bay, that doesn't happen. So losing that hangar bay hurts for really a bunch of reasons. And now Elazer's able to run across the map, and somehow, we didn't notice this, I do apologize, Shroudstone got up. Turning into a, excuse me, what's it called? Turning into a Wraithstone, there we go, and it was able to manifest as well. So this is where life becomes a lot more complicated. That push was really nice, but now tier 3 is up, and we have Shroudfall, right? The Infest didn't really do all that much demo. The Weaver's just gonna run right through everything on Shroudwalk, and now Denver's dead. It was a very powerful army, a nice timing, but didn't really tech up as fast as he should have. So no survival protocol, no mitigative guard, no Graven, nothing like that. Kind of really going for this tier 2 all in. And well, he was forced back home. A run by from Elazer got a lot of value. That means that Denver is down 2. So now we move into game number 3 of this series. It's been 2 straight games. Well, 2 different games. We saw Denver play a much more streamlined style that worked out pretty cool, actually. That worked out fairly nicely. Up until the late game where he didn't get himself up to tier 3. We did not have any Graven in the army, no helicarriers in the army. And that meant that, well, he died to the tier 3. Shroudwalk went down. We saw Nightfall Infest go down. And Elazer just kind of walked over him. Now, we should point out that the reason that worked out, because Elazer was able to get Shroudstone turning into Wraithstone, but Shroudstone on the map manifested down and bring a bunch more units in. Also a big run by on the double Luminite base that Denver had to section his army off of, and that he was going for that bit. Like, that was the all-in timing off of 3 bases. Yeah, it's 4th on the way, but like a 9 racks all in was what Denver was going for. So Elazer did a very, very nice job of delaying that. He did, but even still, Weaver's good units. For now, though, we got Mech Bay now done. Of course, this is a very, very fast map if you cut through the middle, which is exactly what Elazer is going to go do. He is meat farm rushed once again, Denver in this setup, so he's going to go and be able to take Denver's health camp for his own. He's got a vault right in the middle of the map, and that means eventually this Luminite base is, maybe going to get taken, but this is a Elazer aggression to the T. This is a Elazer to a T. So, the brute in the main base doesn't really accomplish a lot, and now we have a hedgehog on the way, but it's all about, first of all, holding this aggression, which is a lot stronger on this map because there's a healing camp right here. But first of all, holding the aggression. Second of all, building yourself up into the mid game and getting your economy to where it needs to be and developing the right army. And then, well, on top of that, taking the right fight and doing all these things. And this is why Elazer is, there are many reasons why Elazer is so very strong. And, one of the big ones is that not only mechanically is he very solid, we talked about this in game 1. He is very good at fighting the broken stuff. He is very, very good at finding the broken stuff. So we're going to see exactly how that's going to work. For now, though, there is Shroud. There's a healing camp. I do not know how you break this thing down. Yeah, there we go. There's a 200 HP effigy. So breaking this thing feels really hard. And Denver's not even going to try, I guess. He's just going to go. He's going to take the speed camp as much as he can. Fiends are going to go down from this one. And it is important to point out, as we talk about this setup, very important to point out that while this early game, and Denver's early game in general, is very strong, very hard to deal with, the flip side is that this map is really bad for Infernal as the game goes later. You really, taking this third base is really hard, but more importantly, getting access to a 3rd and 4th Therium patch is really, really difficult. You can go here, like you got to take one of the north or south side, and it's so close to where the Vanguard player wants to play that if the game goes late, if the game goes very late, that can be very hard to deal with. I'm not saying that it is going to be hard to deal with. I'm not saying the game goes late. That is something that if you are a Vanguard fan, you're saying, I want Denver to win games. Well, that is the possibility. That is kind of what you're tracking, kind of on your hopium. To see how this is going to go. Now, Big Fiend run by is going to force the cancel on the hanger. That doesn't feel good. Luckily, of course, Denver does have his natural done. He's going to go and kite away. 3 hedgehogs are going to be enough here, and these fiends will eventually get dealt with. But just slowing this down. In fact, I want to say a habitat died too. So slowing all this stuff down is always going to be rather nice. This is a hedgehog is going to get trapped into a corner. Fiends are very annoying. Good news is I have 4 weeks left of work for 2024. Isma is back. Congratulations. That is very nice. Oh god, the speed fiends. We got lancers. We're okay. But yes. Congratulations. I unfortunately I've just started writing my dissertation this week, so I'm like, I will be working through Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the holidays, so I can defend on time. But you know what? It works. It works out. Well, so for now, Elazer, you know, this vault is going to get taken down. Do we have the hangar bay? Where is it? Okay, so hangar bay at the natural, more scrapyard. Okay, well, scrapyard going to get me. You do want, really, you get the scrapyard, yes, for the Therium on the natural, but also, more importantly, equally as importantly, getting that orbital cooldown optimizer, making sure that you can mass promote your units that much more. You can bubble them a little bit more consistently, have a overcharge when you need to. Getting a ton of energy as the Vanguard actually is really the more I see it, the more I realize it's subtle, right? Because you're just like, oh, well, you know, it's not a big flashy thing, but it is tremendously impactful from what I've seen of this game thus far. So Elazer's natural, we talked about expansion timings. Elazer's natural is only just now done. It is much slower into this game because, well, he went Greater Shrine. He has gotten his ritual chamber down. Right, we got Plague Axes done on these. No, sorry, Plague Axe is not even started on the guns, but it's a very short upgrade. But the economy for Denver in this game, okay, he's got double hangar bay. Interesting. He's gonna have a lot of Hornets in this game, and remember, Elazer's economy is very slow compared to what we had in game number 2. Very slow compared to what we had in game number 1, which means that Denver's not too upset about how this has gone. Yeah, you know, the pressure early is annoying. It is, but he's building 2 Hornets at a time. He's had his natural for much longer. He's building his workers at the same pace technically as the Infernal player, but Infernals have to spend imps to build their stuff, so it's not too comparable. So yeah, now we're in this situation where Plague Axes are done. Reaper Rush is going to get started after that one. The army is still of a reasonable size for Elazer. Hey, Viper, thank you so much there for the tier 1 sub. Glad you're here. Glad you're enjoying things. Hopefully, you enjoy the emotes. We got StarCraft emotes and Stormgate emotes. It's going to be the play. So for now, a bunch of Hornets. They're very fast. That does not make them attack faster, but the promotion certainly does. And they're just going to kill off this third base. There is no defense here. The gaunts are not where they need to be. So third base gets canceled, and the imp will fall down too. This is by far the best start that Denver has had in a game in this series, and it's on a map that, you know, technically benefits the most from aggression. Yeah, I gotta say, Algorithm, where you're saying I'm doing some sociology research and really enjoying those classic sociology texts. I work on space stuff. Exclamation mark research in the chat if you're curious what my research is on. And I really enjoy reading like the old NASA papers because they're really fun. They are written in a way as to be understandable to the layperson rather than let me show you how smart I am. Grimmy saying, I think Boneyard is the worst for third bases. I don't know. I think this map is actually probably worse for thirds. Yeah, because Boneyard's just a bigger map, right? So yeah, the third base is maybe a little bit harder, but it's really hard to push into. So yes, it's more wide open, but also again harder to push to. And this map is just so short. And especially if you're an Infernal play, like high ground, low ground, playing around this base is painful. Really for one siege unit to surround both players. On top of that, the big problem is you only have 2 Therium patches that are truly viable for the Infernal. So Elazer's going to go and he's going to oversaturate the natural. 11 what is it, 6 or 7 just kind of maintains parity. 11 means that you will eventually kill the node. Eventually, this Therium, you're going to run out of it. So there is a timer that Elazer is paying attention to on the map right now. Eventually, maybe you take these nodes, but they can be pretty difficult to take. And on a game state where really it is the Infernal player that cares a lot more about Therium than the Vanguard player does, this double Luminite base does benefit Denver probably more than it does Elazer. Yeah, that's a fair statement. Now, okay, the Hornets up. Well, one's gonna go down. That's gonna be okay. They do have the hangars to retreat to. Do we have a high command? It is the thing that I have found fascinating about how Denver has been playing this, and what I'm finding myself just not agreeing with, is Denver is not going high command. He's not rushing tier 3, and I think the tier 3 upgrades, I think the tier 3 units are so important to how Vanguard wants to play the game that I think that is a little bit awkward. Now, these Gaunt run-bys, what are they going to be able to find? This repair turret's going to be there. We got reinforcing going down as well from the bulwarks. There's the bulwark. From the rampart, excuse me. So that's going to be fun. We did see one hangar go down. That is unfortunate. But Denver's got himself a supply lead, and he is continuing to be able to get damage done here. We'll see. There is one Shroud Stone. One Shroud Stone does not defend this number of Hornets. Yeah, the Gauntlett on top, and it will. And there's, of course, a manifestation that you have to be afraid of. But we got our second hangar bait remade immediately. Sentry Post going down as well, so he can deal with the run-bys that Elazer has set up. And again, there's the high command. I was gonna say, it's like, man, it really does feel like Denver should be getting into Graven or Helicarriers, or probably Helicarriers this game, seeing the focus on the Hornets. But he really should be developing that high tier tech, and now he really hasn't. But now, I mean, these Hornets are going to show up in the main base, and that's going to be a ton of dead imps. You might be able to, yeah, power of the Shroud Stone. I was like, you might be able to burst this down, but nah. Man, didn't notice this until chat pointed it out, but man, look at Elazer's Therium bank. 1,800 Therium off of these 2 nodes. And actually, it's kind of good for him almost that a lot of these imps have been taken down off the Therium, so it means the nodes can regenerate a little bit. And you can have more later in the game. For now, though, these Speed Hornets are going to try to kill this third base. Yes, there is a Wraith Stone that is slowly killing these units. We have Infest as well, but you can always return to hangar. One Hornet will fall, and the problem with this army right now, which is why you want high command, which is why you want... We're on 4 hangar bays, folks. Strap in. There's gonna be a lot of helicarriers. But just say why you want high command is you need some splash damage. The thing I'm worried about here is these Hornets are very good at this third base. Okay, it's not gonna go down. These Gaunts are staying there defensively. They're doing a good job defending this. But the thing I am worried about is these helicarriers may not pop out in time, and may not have their bombers in time. And Hornets do not fight this number of Gaunts. They're great harassment units. We're seeing that. They're doing a great job about this. They found the angle. They found the angle. This third base is going to fall down. That is unfortunate. That does not feel good here. That means the Elazer's more all in than he already was. And the Therium base also was killed. There was an attempt at this one. This also got taken down. So the problem, I think for Denver at this point, this might force Elazer to go all in. His army, he knows that this, I mean, Hornets do not fight this number of Gaunts. It is not particularly close, but helicarriers are on the map now. Bombers are starting to get added in. We have 3 helicarriers, 2 helicarriers on the way. It seems like the story. And it's funny, Denver went 4 hangar bay, but I don't know that he has I don't know that you can support 4 helicarriers at a time on, I mean, I guess technically this is 4 bases, but you know, 2 Therium. I don't know that you can support that amount of money. That amount of cost, I guess, a better way to say that. So for now, Nightfall well placed here, and these Hornets are just, a lot of them are going down. They're infested. They have minus armor. They are just, it's not a happy situation for these Hornets, and they're getting bracketed into a corner. The Gaunts are going to try to find them. So yeah, that is a lot of Hornets going down. Not the end of the world for Denver, because again, the goal was to buy time to get up into this tier 3 tech, and he has since gotten there. We're looking at Once you get to like 6 helicarriers, it is very hard. 6 helicarriers with their full complement of bombers. It is very, very hard for the Infernal player to take the fight. It's just there's so many bombing runs and there is so much damage. I actually didn't know, by the way. We were talking about helicarrier that they should auto build bombers. I didn't know they didn't. I assumed they would. But full complement of bombers on the way. We're looking at 4 helicarriers right now. Bombing run on top. This is gonna not really land. Fun fact, by the way, you can mess with how the helicarrier bombing run works by slowing them down. So if you were able to like nightfall, which obviously is very difficult to do, but if you're able to go like nightfall the helicarriers, you mess with their impact zone. They drop their bombs a little bit earlier. So there are some cool things you can do. I don't know that it's ever super viable, but it is interesting. And now this is what we were talking about, this late game being, oh god, look at that. The shrine goes down 50% instantaneously. This is where life gets scary, because if you have siege units, helicarriers, they count as siege units, magmadons, atlases, you hold the high ground, you hold these trees, and it's very hard to re-engage. So now there's not a lot of static defense here. The Hornets, I don't think they fight this. So we got some Lancers running over. Do they have tier 3 upgrade? They don't have mitigative guard, but they do have kinetic redirect, and that is useful. But Elazer is doing a very, very nice job. A very nice job of just making sure that he has, well, 2 armies. He's got this Gauntlet Run Bison. I think this is actually kind of cool, because it has, my feeling in Stormgate for a while has been like harassment plays are not really rewarded as these bombing runs. You know, they're pretty good. Maybe not it. Why have we lost game sound? Oh, there we go. I don't know, but the game sounds are here. They're pretty good. They're maybe not quite as good as they would like to be. And actually, one of these helicarriers has gone down. Not exactly the plate. Meanwhile, these Gaunts are trying to fight. There's a double Shroudstone, manifested Shroudstone. So this harass is finding value. Hellborn getting damage done as well. But once a second bombing run is available, we're waiting for that cooldown. This fight becomes much more difficult. So the 4th base, the 3rd and 4th base of Denver, I think it dies. I think that there's just too much here. Too many Gaunts. Too many Fiends. I think this is dead. But the good majority of the army of Elazer is going to fall down as well. And he doesn't have a lot of money. He's mining some Therium. Plague Dragon's not available just yet. And Denver still has this 3rd base available. I don't think he's able to save this in time. I don't think he... okay, so here's actually a big problem for... There's a big problem for Denver right now. He's got 169 Therium. This patch in the natural is dead. Patch in the main base, mining out pretty soon. He needs to go take this patch. He needs to go get himself more Therium, because he is rapidly running out of it in a way that somehow Elazer, despite being the most Therium-starved setup... Hello, Euthermal. Yes, T-Tors. I am sorry. There were 2 fights happening at once. I'm doing my best here. If I was really cool, I'd have picture-in-picture set up, but I don't have a second PC properly set up. That I could. I should. But we don't have that set up for the moment. That being said, we got a base getting set up here by Denver on the bottom side. He really needs to take this Therium patch. He really needs to take this patch. Because if we see, he's at 34 Therium. The main base is just the main base is just about dead. And Elazer, yeah, Elazer has fixed his eco. Now there's a dragon on the map as well. So this situation, I mean, I love how the Hellborn Magma Touch, it scales. So it's just this massive whirlwind attacking command posts. So Elazer's fixed his eco, and he's got a big run by on the right side. This army that Denver has made is very difficult for the Infernal player to fight in a straight up fight. But it's very much a death ball. So the Gaunts are going to show up on this 3rd base. They're going to take that down. And again, well, bombing runs are not really going to land. Not at all. Yeah, not at all here. There's going to be a second one. And they're going to take some of these Gaunts down. But the bombing runs for now have not really done a lot here. And that means that the Gaunts can actually kind of fight a little bit. Not incredibly, of course, because helicarriers are very, very strong, but they're able to kill 1 or 2. And again, in this game where Denver does not have that secondary tech resource to make this happen, that's not great. So now a bunch of Spriggans join the fray, and Elazer This has been the game that is the closest for Denver. This has been by far the best game for Denver. And Elazer's like, yeah, you know, people have been talking about how harassment doesn't really reward anything. It's not really rewarded in this game. Well, Elazer's showing us that, well, if you're Elazer, that will be very different. He has ripped Denver on both sides of the map quite often. Now, Spriggans are going to get on top of these helicarriers. Not a lot of anti-air other to knock these Spriggans down outside of the helicarriers themselves. And Elazer's doing everything he has to do. He's broken the base. He's broken another base. The helicarrier numbers are reducing in the extreme. Only 2 remain at this point. There's a dragon doing massive single target damage. And Elazer's going to be able to break this down. This was not... Make no mistake about it. Once the game gets late, once we're talking about these helicarriers, this is not an easy game for Elazer to win, given the game state. But he ripped Denver apart. He found exactly what he needed. And that means that Elazer's up 3 games to 0.